Okay guys, so I know it's been a while and I know you guys have been waiting for this interview, so without further ado, I'm not going to waste any time. Here's Sonny Strait. Alright everybody, we're here with Sonny Strait. He voices several characters.
Yeah, at least two.
At least two. So how would you say you got your start in voice acting?
I did a lot of theater work, and Funimation, who was the producer of Dragon Ball Z at the time, they moved from Canada to Texas and had open auditions for Dragon Ball Z. And I always wanted to be in a cartoon. My dad did cartoon voices when I was a little kid. He taught me how to do Donald Duck when I was 4.
Okay.
I started doing all these funny voices and stuff. But I never thought I would be on a cartoon because I didn't plan on leaving Texas.
Right.
And at the time, Texas didn't do animation at all, right? So I landed the part of Krillin. And once I did that, in the States we have a thing called Cartoon Network. And on Cartoon Network, they had a robot host called Toonami Tom.
Right.
And I auditioned for that. And when I got that, I was like, oh crap, I think I've stumbled onto a career. And it's dominated my life for the past 26 years.
And I don't think it's been a bad domination. I mean,
no, I love it.
Seems to have worked out. I mean,
as an actor, it's a dream come true. You know, I get to do all these crazy characters, and also because it's recorded, I get typecast less. You know, because it's all based on your voice instead of your height or your looks or whatever. You know.
So you don't actually have to worry about all of that. You just have to sound the part.
No, as a matter of fact, when I come to conventions like this, and I go into the refrigerators to get sodas. All the diet sodas are taken by the celebrities, and I get the regular ones because I don't have to care about how I look.
I mean, it has perks, I guess, right?
Yeah, it does.
So I remember talking to Brian Drummond a little while ago. He said that he had to be voiced. Who's he? He was Vegeta, right? I think
in the Canadian version.
Sabat had to voice match him. So did you have to voice match somebody?
I did, but what happened was, as soon as I got cast, I found out it was a comic book, and I'm a comic book artist, so I was like, oh, whoa, I gotta find this comic. And before I even recorded it, I started reading the comics, and Terry Clausen's voice, I could match it as close as anybody there, that's why I got it.
Right.
But in my head, what I heard was something different. What I heard when I read it sounded more like Popeye on helium in my head.
Okay.
And the first day I recorded, the director said, you know, that sounds just like Terry Clausen, but I don't like that. Can you do another kind of voice? And I went, what about Popeye on helium? And he goes, what would that sound like? I don't know, something like this. Come on, let's go, guys. And he went, yeah, use that. So I got to be the first one to do what I wanted with the voice.
Right.
And if you listen to the rest of the cast, by the time we got to season 2, they went way away from what the original was too, which is where they probably should have started.
Right.
I mean, it was jarring for a lot of people when they first heard Krillin being so different.
Right.
But after a couple episodes, they're like, oh, okay.
You get used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it. And so I think it's kind of silly to try to sound like somebody who did it before. You should try to make it your own, because it's going to be more believable.
I mean, in its own respect, it makes sense because they didn't want to they wanted to overlap. But I like the way that everybody's now made it their own, because now it doesn't sound forced.
Right, exactly, and it comes from a real place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you also said that when you did Usopp, I remember hearing this a little bit ago, that it was Oda who picked, right?
Yeah, Oda cast us in that. It was originally done by 4 kids, and then I don't know what happened to it, but suddenly they gave it to Funimation, and they said they want to have a hand in casting it. So what Funimation did was they had the auditions in Texas, and they picked the top 10 actors for each character and sent those to Japan.
Right.
And Oda and his crew decided who was what. So that's the one part I say, if you don't like the way I do it, I don't care.
Talk to the creator?
Exactly. The creator, that's what he hears in his head. I can't do better than that.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, like, it's almost, like, probably an honor, I would say, to hear that from the creator himself, that you sound the most like his character.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it's first and only time I was cast by the creator of the series.
Still pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you also do a lot of your own prints.
Yeah.
When did you start getting into art?
Before I was a voice actor even, I'm a professional comic book artist.
Right.
And I still do comics. My latest book came out from Dark Horse last year. It's ElfQuest Stargazer's Hunt. Okay. And it's 2 graphic novels, I think, combined into one. That's what they just published.
I'll have to give it a look.
Yeah. I also worked, I started out as a self-publisher on my series with my buddy Billy Foster. It's called Mr. Average.
Right.
And that was cool. I mean, it was like, it was the first time we got a little taste of fame. You know, we went out to different conventions and signed autographs for that. But yeah, I love comics, and so, you know, a lot of great artists come up to me and say, "Can I draw your prints for your table?" I'm like, I would, but I do my own. Exactly. Like, here's one of my latest ones with Frankie and the Sniper King. And that one I painted with colored inks.
Well, they're all really unique. I like the way that they're different. So a lot of people have like kind of this.
You know why?
Style.
Because, and that's why I'm a terrible comic book artist. Because I'm an actor first,
right.
And I just put myself, everything, I change even the character of the line work when I draw something, Okay. Like I wanted this to have this feel, so I act out the feel of this and I act out the feel of this. Instead of having a unique style that stays the same and consistent that would actually get me work, I'm all over the map.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have to put your day job. Right?
That's right. Like, check out the difference between like this one and this one, It's just how I felt that day.
But I mean, I think it gives it a cool taste because now it's your own style. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything specific. It's how you felt.
Well, I think that's why I got the gig drawing ElfQuest, because I could act out drawing in Wendy's style, which is exact opposite of what I said we should do with the voice actor. You should make it your own. But like when Wendy, she'd finished the ElfQuest series, I actually colored the final quest for her. Right. And then she wanted to do one more story, but it's such an endeavor drawing a comic.
Right.
And so she said, I just don't want to draw it. Can you draw it? And I said, all right, well, let's do it this way. You draw whatever you want. If it's just stick figures or whatever, and I'll turn it into ElfQuest. And so what she did was, like, sometimes she was like really into it. She would draw almost finished pages, and all I had to do was color it, right? And then sometimes it was just blocky ideas, and I would finish it up. So it was just like, you draw what you want, and I'll turn it.
It was a good bit of teamwork in that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's really cool.
I think that's if you check out Stargazer's Hunt, I think it's definitely the best work the two of us have done together.
That's awesome. No, I will definitely have to give that a look. We have bookstores I can find it at.
Yeah.
So I guess you would prefer voice acting over arting or art
no.
work, or no, you prefer artwork over it?
I prefer any artwork. If I'm in a band or if I'm drawing or writing or whatever.
Voice acting in itself is an art form, I would say.
It certainly is, yeah. And I've directed. I love directing. I just love the arts. I've always have. And so when I was in high school, I was in band and choir and theater, and I was on the creative writing staff, and I was a staff artist for the newspaper. Okay. It was just like anything artistic, I wanted to be a part of it. Okay. If it had anything to do with math, I was
math is
just
the worst.
awful. Yeah,
that's the worst.
I cannot do algebra to this day.
Neither can I. I can't even remember half the equations that I learned 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But so I guess kind of to circle back to maybe your voice acting, what was your first character you played, and maybe was it based on any of the art? Was it your own character that you drew, or?
The first character I played successfully was in high school, and I played Huckleberry Finn in the Huckleberry Finn play.
Yeah, that's cool. You said you were a theater actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did you start that? Was that
1979. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was in high school, and then I was very fortunate because there was a school that did theater camps.
Right.
It's called East Texas State University. It doesn't exist now.
Okay.
But it was such an incredible theater group, and every summer I'd spend 2 weeks at this camp, and day one you audition for like 5 plays. There's 5 different directors. They cast it by the end of the day. They give you your scripts, and then you have to have it memorized by the next day to start working.
Jesus. All 5 of them?
No, you get one.
Oh, you get one.
You get cast in one.
Okay.
And it can be hard, especially like if you got one of the lead roles. You got to get as close to memorize as you can. Yeah. But so from like half the day, we'd start from 11 to 11 at night.
Right.
So from 11 to halfway point around lunchtime, we would be in classes. We would learn meditation. We would learn different mimes and different stage movements and stage combat and stuff like that.
Right.
And then at night, we would practice the show.
Okay.
Rehearse it, and then after 2 weeks, we would perform it for families and stuff that came to see it.
You think they give you a little more time?
No, they did, but that was part of it too. Like to put you in that intensive situation. And after that, man, when you go back to high school and you get cast in a play, and you give you 2 weeks to memorize, you're like, I haven't memorized tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, now I guess it helps you in your career. Now you can memorize lines like it's.
Sometimes you have to memorize pretty quick,
Right.
But generally, you've got the script right here and this right here, and if you watch it one time and if you've been doing this a long time, you can get the rhythms right, you get an idea of it. It's like, I can just read it and do it at the timing. I don't even have to look at the screen.
Okay. So it seems like you're very art-based. Does that mean you also play an instrument?
Kind of. Yeah, I kind of play guitar. I picked that up in my 50s. I was like, just instead of having a midlife crisis and buying a gross sports car, I decided to get a guitar. Yeah, I got a guitar, and
that's a good choice.
I don't play very well, but it does keep my mind occupied.
Was that like a COVID learn or?
No, it's before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, you probably play much better than I was. So.
Last year, I started trying to play lead guitar.
Okay.
And it's just because my dog died, and while she was on her deathbed, I started playing these notes. And the sequence of notes, she like perked up. She was like out of it for days. And she was like, listen to this. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to work on that more. And I started understanding the relations of the notes more that way. So a lot of times I say Anna and I are going to practice. That's my dog, Anna.
That's very sweet. I'm sure that was a good memory for you. I'm sorry to hear that she passed.
No.
But, so what would you say your favorite out of all of them are? Would it still be the art, or would you like playing the instrument more? Do you want to go back to
whatever
theater?
What I'm doing.
Whatever you're doing?
Yeah.
Would you ever go back to theater?
I would, yeah. If I had the time, I certainly would. The problem with theater is it takes 2 or 3 months, for rehearsal time.
Yeah.
And that's like a big chunk of time,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I guess to kind of wrap up the interview here so then we can let your customers come along.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite part about voice acting, and how would someone get into it?
My favorite part of voice acting is just being able to immerse yourself and let go of your ego completely and become something else for a moment,
That was very beautifully put.
Thank you.
That was I think that's the best answer I've heard so far.
I know what I'm doing.
Apparently. So
I also teach acting.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like acting or voice acting?
Well, for me, it's a voice acting class, but acting is always first with me. When I had my studio before the pandemic, I had a stage built in there, so I made them perform in front of each other, because nothing is going to teach you more about acting and timing than being in front of a live audience and hearing them respond to you in real time. After a while of doing that, you instinctively know how to say something to move someone.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and then how would you say that someone could get into voice acting, for my last question here?
Well, it's different than when I got in, because it's a huge industry now.
Right.
But I would say do a lot of theater just to get your chops down, so you'll be ahead of most people, because most people don't go that route. Also, there's a lot of people, I don't teach right now, but there's a lot of actors who do.
Yeah, D. Bradley Baker, Steve Bloom, I think Vanessa Marshall.
Oh, definitely take Steve Bloom's class. He's amazing. But yeah, if you know who they are, chances are they know what they're doing. So, and also a lot of those guys are directors, so it's a good way to be seen as well.
Yeah. And for the very last question, who's your favorite character you've played so far?
That'd be Koro Sensei from Assassination Classroom. And then a close second is Krillen and Usopp are tied.
Of course, fair enough. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Have a good one.
So I hope you guys enjoyed Sonny Strait's interview. If you guys have any other questions that you might want to ask him, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure I'll see him again soon, and I will be more than willing to ask him for you. But that was the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.